Now on YouTube, it's time for some alternative commentary action with the Commentary Hub.
There's headed by Marina, and it's 2-1 to Arsenal.
Look at that point! Goal for Manchester City!
Takes this corner, whips it in, it's headed and it's a goal, and it's that man, Gabriel.
Liverpool have equalised. Lovely improvisational touch from Curtis Jones.
Oh, what a goal! Wow, take it out! Welcome to the commentators' coverage of this Premier League encounter on match week 27. It's Sunderland against Fulham at the Stadium of Light, and I'm your alternative host and commentator, Russ Vernon, guiding you through the action today. Ahead of kick-off, then we'll take a quick look at the kick-off as the teams are in the tunnel here. We'll just take a quick look at the scores from the Premier League thus far in the weekend, of the weekend's games in the Premier League thus far, before we get started. And this is how the Premier League scores from yesterday finished up. It was Aston Villa 1, Leeds United 1, Brentford 0, Brighton 2, Chelsea 1, Burnley 1, West Ham 0, Bournemouth 0, Man City 2, Newcastle United 1. Today's matches, as well as this one that we're covering here today, is Crystal Palace versus Wolverhampton Wanderers, Nottingham Forest versus Liverpool, kick off at the same time as us as the teams merge from the tunnel. And later for here on the channel, we've got Tottenham against Arsenal. And tomorrow night's match is Everton against Manchester United at 8 o'clock. The two teams are emerging from the tunnel ahead of kick-off in this big game here tonight. And we'll get on this afternoon or this morning, depending where you are across the world, and we'll keep you bang up to date with this game between Sunderland and Fulham in the Premier League. I'm Russ Vernon, and I'll be guiding you through the action today. And we've already had a game in the Championship earlier today. We'll tell you about that result at half time, and we'll go through the remainder of the Championship fixtures. The teams are out onto the field of play ahead of kick-off. Kick-off is very much fast approaching here. It's Sunderland against Fulham in the Premier League. Kick-off is coming up at 2 o'clock. As the teams go through the handshakes very, very soon, we'll take a quick, as we go through the handshakes right now, very shortly we'll take a quick look at the two officials and the lineups very, very soon. We'll start with the lineups first of all, and we'll start with the Sunderland lineup in first of all as well. Managed by Reggie Lebray, they will line up as followed. Robin Roos starts between the sticks as he continues his fine form in goal for Sunderland. Mukalele, Ballard, Ararete and Hume across back. Hume is the captain. Noah Siddiqui sits in front of the back four with him, and then he's by Diarra, Lefay and Anguilla behind Brian Robbie in attack. For Sunderland today on the bench, Elborg, Retruder, Talby, Rigg, Mayenda, O'Nine, Mundell, Isidore and Granit Xhaka, the club captain. As for Fulham and Marco Silva side, they landed with Ben Leno in goal from our goalkeeper keeping between the sticks. Tete, the captain, Anderson, Bassett and Sessegnon across the back. Midfield two of Alex Iwobi and Standerberg sitting in front of the back four. Harry Wilson, Emil Smith, another former Arsenal man, and Kevin, the Brazilian winger, behind the lone striker of the Mexican Raul Jimenez. The bench for Fulham, Leckham, Reed, Muniz, Kearney, Bob, Cuenca, Castagna, King and Issa Diop. Today's match officials then, ahead of kick-off for this big game today, is the referees from Sheffield with Craig Paulson, assisted by Lee Betts and Matt Wilkes. Ruben Ricardo, the fourth official. And we have got VAR today, Tony Harrington and Wade Smith operating that today. Let's take a look then at the head-to-heads ahead of kick-off then in what's going to be a big game tonight, or this afternoon, or this morning, as we can see there. Sunderland just edging the wins as it between the two sides. Fulham leading 1-0 in the reverse fixture there. Fulham 3 wins to 2 in the last 5 meetings between the two sides. Let's take a quick look at the two goalkeepers then ahead of kick-off. which is going to be a big game today. And they can see there, Robin Roofs, one of the best goalkeepers in England and in the Premier League at this moment in time. 26 games played, only 30 goals conceded, a save percentage of 0.739%, with Burnley 6.638. Then a good save economy rate for Robin Roofs as well there. 8 clean sheets for the Sunderland goalkeeper and 5 for the Fulham goalkeeper today. Sunderland have just finished in their team model. So too have Sunderland, and we're almost set and ready to go then for what's going to be a big game in the Premier League today. So for Sunderland in their traditional red and white striped shirts, black shorts and red socks, we're about to get us off and underway very, very soon in this Premier League encounter. And Enzo Lafayette kicks us off and underway back to Robin Roofs, who will take a touch and send this ball long down through towards this right hand side. And the early free kick is there for Fulham. No, that says the referee is. There is Talby, should I say, not Talby's on the bench. It's Tybee who starts. Yochin Tybee, the winger there for Sunderland, on that right hand side. Diarra playing just in the middle of him. Noah Siddiqui playing in the holding role in front of the back four today for Sunderland. Fulham have got a little bit of possession, but Sunderland have won it back. And only one defeat here at this end of life for Sunderland this season, that come against Liverpool. Yeah, a few weeks ago, as Kenny Tete brings Harry Wilson into place. Harry Wilson looks to get the front foot early on. Well, with Smith Rowe now, here's Sanderberg. Back towards Smith Rowe, which cut out. So Sunderland will try and break with Brian Bobby. Fouled by Alex Iwobi, the Nigerian, and a free kick to Sunderland inside the opening minute of this Premier League encounter. Later on today, we've got another Premier League match to come for you as well, which we'll tell you about a little bit later on in the programme. And we've also got a game tomorrow to come for you as well. Make sure you stay tuned for that one. Here's Robin Roofs for Sunderland, who can bring this ball forward into Dan Ballard, strolling out of defence and plays a wonderful ball down the line for Brian Bobby, and he goes out of play for a flight to Sunderland on this near side there, right, which Nordi Mukalele wants to take. He tries to take it down the line, looking for Tabe there, who can't get behind Ryan Sessegnon, who's watching him like an hawk. And looks like it will be a long throw instead from Mukalele in the opening 2 minutes of this game. He goes in towards the 6-yard box, cleared away by Fulham, and Wilson just acts it downfield only as far as in from Robin Roofs, who sends this ball long downfield up and over the top there, flicks on, it breaks into the penalty area as Fulham try to clear. Anderson gets the initial header cleared. Oh, this one was Tete clears it downfield. Here's Enyo Smith Rowe back to Kenny Tete, who clears it again for an header there in the midfield by Enzo Lafayette for Sunderland. Gets it forward. Good piece of defensive work there from Enzo Lafayette, who has been a good signing for Sunderland and came in the Championship when the last season and helped them get promoted by the playoffs and stayed on a permanent basis. We're only on loan last season. The Tiber now gets the ball out wide, and that's a good ball into Anguilla. Puts in field, just Anguilla still going. And he loses out as Wilson picks up for Fulham. Good bit of movement there off the ball for Smith Rowe to get involved. Good ball out wide now as Fulham with Rodriguez. There was a ball in from Raul Jimenez looking for Harry Wilson. And it went out to that far side. Almost calling Rodrigo Muniz there. He's on the bench. It's Rodrigo Muniz, who was linked with Leeds United in the summer. So too was Harry Wilson, but they stayed with Fulham. Wilson had a contract, so Leeds could potentially pick him up for free in the summer. Coming up to the end of the season. And play will continue as Fulham have got the ball back as it remains 0-0 between the two sides in the Premier League. With a full bit of control as here's Enzo Lafayette now, but the ball has gone out of play. And he will be throwing Willich, or is he flagging off for offside? Not sure what referee Craig Pawson gave there. Just trying to work out what he gave. And Craig Pawson is from that steel city of Sheffield, where both clubs in Sheffield played earlier today in the Championship. I'll give you that scoreline at half time of this game. It remains 0-0 between Sunderland and Fulham in the Premier League. Same scoreline elsewhere in the Premier League as well as in the other two early kickoffs in Crystal Palace and Wolves and Nottingham Forest and Liverpool. All played well about the same time, so they all kicked off bang bang on with each other. The one may be delayed longer than the other due to the injury time that they have in the matches. As a long throw from Ukulele towards the edge of the penalty area, on the edge of the 6-yard box, and he's headed behind for a Sunderland corner from Sanderberg, who looked like he was fouled in there. But the referee, Craig Pawson, said no foul in there. Let's just look at this again. It's been a both there from Sanderberg and Dan Ballard. 6 to 1, half a dozen over the other, it looks like to me. Ballard was just a bit stronger as Calby sends that corner in and straight out again for a goal kick to Fulham. And I'm just going to give a shout out to Barry Swain if he's listening. Big Fulham fan is Barry, and he'll be hoping that his Fulham side could or can get a victory today in the Premier League against Sunderland. As we watch on here, and with this point as it stands, Sunderland are up to 10th above Newcastle United on 37 points. Fulham up to 12th, a point behind Newcastle. The ball down the line for Wellington Jimenez into Ryan Sessegnon. Sessegnon's low cross and it's cleared away. Jimenez again on the edge of the penalty for Sanderberg this time. How wide it goes as here comes Kenny Tete. A good piece of defending there for Anguilo to cut it out and put it out for the throw-in. Good early start in this game today as we keep you bang up to date across the Premier League 2 o'clock kickoffs. No goals to tell you about in any of those. We'll keep you bang up to date with those today as we keep. There's a man down here for Sunderland, I think it's Mukalele. And it is went down on the challenge of Kevin. And remains 0-0. Sunderland 0, Fulham 0. We're just joining us. Fulham are in their change strip today of all green, while Sunderland are in their traditional red and white striped shirts, black shorts, and red and white socks. McLean remains down on the field, just receiving a bit of treatment here. Now sits up. As you can see, the shot there of the director of football at Sunderland, Florentino Gisifilov. Florent, should I say, Soloff, who's done a remarkable job with the recruitment in the matches. Well, in the window, should I say, with the players brought in, one of the best windows of a newly promoted side. As we watch on there, as you can see a shot there of the chairman, Carl Louis de Vries, there, the Sunderland chairman, who has done a remarkable job since he came into the club as chairman. Here's Iwobi with Matty's back, focusing now on the field of play. As Harry Wilson now picks up for Fulham as he looks to turn away from his man over on that far side. But Anderson gets it wide here now to Alex Iwobi. Iwobi further wide to Kevin. He attacks the penalty on this left hand side, Kevin. Just loses out there at the end as Calby can't keep it in place. Setting on. There was a wonderful cross in too high on the final ball into the penalty area. And Sunderland almost trying to break out and break out quickly if they can tear this going quickly, which they opt against doing. Fulham wanting a throw-in for themselves there, but it's not going to be given. They felt Anguilla put the ball out there. Jocelyn T. I'll just go with Jocelyn for the number 37 of Sunderland. This way it's going back to be share. Jocelyn T. So that's what we'll call him from now on. This is Wilson. Coming forward into the penalty area. Now on the edge. The ball towards penalty deflects into the arms of Robin Roofs. And that's a good bit of defensive work there from Sunderland to block off that avenue there as Ballard brings this ball forward. As Jocelyn wins this side of free kick on this near side. Good play from the wingers. Sunderland may have to make an early change here. Gertruda just taking on some fluids. He may come on and replace Mukalele here. He's still struggling. It seems a little bit. Northern Mukalele, so we may have to make an early change for Sunderland here with Russell Gertruda coming on. We'll keep an eye on that because Mukalele is staying on for now. Robin Roofs sends this ball forward, headed away by Ryan Sessegnon. And it goes out of play. We'll throw with Mukalele to take. And it goes back to Robin Roofs. And across there, well, to Treyu. And now to Roofs again. He's got Siddiqui on this right hand side. And he's wide up. No Siddiqui, but he goes long instead, looking for Brian Bobby. Sessegnon wins the header well there in Sanderberg. Now Alex Iwobi is then carrying away down this near side of the left. And Fulham's attack from right to left in this first half. And then Enzo Lefebvre and Arab Diarra win the ball back. And then Arab Diarra puts the ball out of play because there's a man down here for Sunderland and he's no Mukalele again. And it looks like this afternoon or evening or morning, depending what time zone you're in, is about to come to an end. This afternoon here in the Premier League in England for you today. It remains Sunderland 0, Fulham 0, 11.5 minutes almost gone here in the Premier League as we watch on here as Sunderland fans rise to their feet to grab Northern Mukalele off as he's replaced by Russell Gertruda, who wears number 6. So number 20 Northern Mukalele off, Russell Gertruda on, wearing number 6 if you're watching along with the pictures here today. Approaching the 12th minute mark, early substitution, not what Reggie Lebree and Sunderland would have wanted to do. And there is a change in how Sunderland plays. It looks like Noah Siddiqui who's dropped into that right back spot. It looks like Sunderland may have gone to a back three at times, or will Gertruda be part of that back line now instead? Because he can play in defence, can Gertruda. His main position is midfield. It'll be interesting to see how this shapes up then. Unless Dan Ballard's going to right back. That's how it looks like at the moment, but we'll keep a check on how Sunderland will now shape up after that substitution there. It was midfielder came on for a defender, although he can play in defence. Here is Siddiqui onto Diarra now, who turns away from his man. Diarra back to Ballard. Across there to Alderete. And back now to Robin Roofs. Roofs sends it forward. Wonderful run from Anguilla, but too much on that pass. Forward straight through to Bern Leno in between the Fulham's sticks today. And it remains Sunderland 0, Fulham 0. If you're just tuning into us this afternoon, we're spending guiding you through the action as we bring you this game today. Elsewhere in the Premier League, so far this afternoon, it remains goalless in all the matches. Crystal Palace against Wolves and Nottingham Forest against Liverpool, as well as here at the Stadium of Light between Sunderland and Fulham. We'll keep you across any action that happens there this afternoon in those other two Premier League encounters as we keep an eye on this game here between Sunderland and Fulham, which both teams are going fairly well in the table. Sunderland with an impressive home record, only one defeat, 7 wins and 5 draws, conceded 10 goals, 21 goals scored, a points total at home of 26. As here is Anguilla down the left hand side for Sunderland into the penalty now. Tries to get a ball into the penalty, it's pulled behind by Sanderberg for a corner kick. Sunderland, that's got a bit of play there by Anguilla down the left hand channel. He races onto the ball forward from Trey Young, the captain. And he got into the penalty area, twisting one way, then the other, pulled the ball across. Sanderberg could have left that for Ben Leno to get to. He didn't realise there was no one there. So he had to tap it behind and played it safe behind for the corner. And Willow causing Fulham a lot of problems on the left hand side. Trey Young, the captain, goes across the terrace on this left hand side. He's right footed, playing left back, is Trey Young, which sometimes you see those sort of things in the Premier League. There's a ball in towards a penalty, Rocky Manson heads to Wilson, further clear, but only as far as Robin Roos controls well on his chest and plays it back to Trey Young, who gets this ball forward. Again, it's Sunderland. Van Willow trying to get beyond Sanderberg again, and Sanderberg this time plays it safe to Leno to clear long downfield. Harry Wilson challenging for that and gets there. Because Harry Wilson is charging away from his man. He has to go by that to Kenny Tete. Now Smith Rowe drops it further back here. Now he's infield from Sanderberg to Calvin Bassett. Bassett with the ball forward looking for Ryan Session, and he's in behind here. Session will cross in. Too much on that ball in. Young gets it clear. Out of play for a Fulham throw-in. Good play again from Fulham on that transitional period, which is what you like to see, those transitional periods there, and remains 0-0 between the two sides. Fulham down really quickly. Here's Harry Wilson with the ball into the penalty area. Too much pace on that ball. Sees him run out of play for a throw-in for Sunderland, and it remains 0-0 between the two sides. If you're just tuning into us this afternoon. Sunderland 0, Fulham 0 in the Premier League as we watch on this afternoon. Long ball downfield is Sessignon with the clearance, headed forward by Enzo Lafayette. But here they come again now. Kenny Tete lines up a strike, is blocked. Comes out to the edge of penalty area. Alex Robin to Kevin! Draws it across the face of goal. No one was there. And all they needed was a slide in there in the back post from Raleigh Mayonnaise or Harry Wilson. And if we slid in there, if someone gambles out of the back post, or if Emil Smith Rowe gambles as a ball comes across, that would have been 1-0 to Fulham. But there's no one there taking a gamble, and that's what you're wanting to happen. You're wanting gambles to happen in them sort of areas this afternoon. It's Jocelyn who wins his side of throwing as he was being forced backwards towards his own goal there. Good defensive work by the Sunderland wingers. We'll just see this again. He takes it down well out of the sky and turns away from Sessignon, and Sessignon just kept it on that pressure and forced him backwards. We would have thrown this. Jocelyn again who can't get the ball forward. This is picked off here by Fulham. Documents inside the centre circle, send it out wide towards this left hand side, took a deflection on route, didn't know. Well, he did offer a Fulham shirt to now to play for a throw in to Sunderland. It remains 0-0 to Gertruda. Watches the ball infield and is cleared away. Ends up and away there. I'll play for a Sunderland throw in, which Gertruda will come across the take since he's slotted into that right back spot. He has gone into right back spotters Russell Gertruda. So it was a life for life change there, although he is a midfielder by trade, is Gertruda. And it remains 0-0 between Sunderland and Fulham. Same scoreless Ellis Park between Crystal Palace and Wolves. Another City ground between Nottingham Forest and Liverpool. Wolves gets it out wide to Ballard, who can Get the ball forward. Jocelyn after this one, and he gets there. It's at the penalty on the right hand side. Jocelyn tries to put it in. It deflects behind for a corner. But that's good play again from Sunderland, and that's what they like to do, get forward. Let a long ball over the top. Just onside as well, played onside by Joachim Anderson. Jocelyn T. And good piece of defending. Again, and it's going to be Jocelyn who won the corner to take the corner. On this near side, the right. He whips the ball into the penalty area. And the chance to go from Gertrude is blocked. Comes out to Enzo Lafay, who can keep it moving for Sunderland. He's not too bad there. Ball's end up towards the penalty area. And go around the back. He controls it well. And he goes outside the penalty. The referee says get up. And he's trying to keep on the possession. And Fulham get a free kick there. And I think it's because he kept the ball between his legs and won't release it. There, and I think that's why the free kick is being given. For obstruction more than anything, as he traps the ball between his legs. Here, so you can't get it. Look at this again. That could have been a penalty for a slight touch on the foot there from Raul Jimenez. Not given though by the officials, although I've seen them given sometimes, but not all the time. So I'm not overly surprised that wasn't given there. He's now a free kick to Sunderland. Foul by Raul Jimenez on Dan Ballard. And Raul Jimenez having a word with Craig Paulson, who then helps him up. There's the referee, good sportsmanship from the referee there. Raul Jimenez with Raul on the back of his shirt. And it remains 0-0 between Sunderland and Fulham in the Premier League. If you're just joining us, Sunderland had to make a early change in the game. Nordi Mukalele went off injured. Russell Gertrude on in his place. And he started in a right back where Mukalele was playing. Although Sunderland have got the ball, it moves up into midfield. So it's a bit like that role which these Man City defenders have, where they get the ball and drive into the space. There remains 0-0 between Sunderland and Fulham in the Premier League, as the long ball forward from Joachim Anderson was blocked and charged down well, as Sunderland have started really, really well. And Fulham have gone into it a little bit in the last 5 or so minutes, but you've got to say this has been a good game thus far to watch. Is it Jimenez went down there? Is he giving a free kick against? Free kick there? No. Ballard did well to clear. Did look like a potential foul on Raul Jimenez by Ballard, but the referee didn't give it. Now back with Calvin Bassett, the Nigerian, who plays it back to Joachim Anderson. And now Fulham will try and come forward here now. Good bit of play. Can they come forward? Wonderful bit of play. Sandberg into Calvin Bassett, who plays it downfield. It's picked up here well. Can Enzo the fake charge forward? He can down this right side. Tries to get another ball in. He's blocked as he tries to pick out Brian Brobby, and he's behind for a corner kick. To some of those fans are really up for this game today. If you're just tuning into us, thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. Approaching the 23rd minute mark, and already halfway through this game, and it's been a evenly matched game. Sunderland probably created more chances, and said that a poor corner win from Jocelyn, who gets a second chance to put the ball into the penalty area, and he does another poor cross. Kevin there heading down to Harry Wilson, and Wilson tries to switch the play. He's been blocked off as Ballard keeps the ball forward for Sunderland. The truly helps it on. Trey Young with the header there. Loses out. So now Iwobi sends Jimenez away. He's got Smith Rowe. Ball from Smith Rowe behind Kevin, who has to go backwards. And the play that bit better, Fulham would have been in through Harry Wilson on this left hand side as he broke forward. He was trying to get that towards his right hand side, and he saw the play move, and he came forward and right in field and made that running towards the penalty area, nothing given. The ball through to him wasn't given. Here's Calvin Bassett in field. He goes to Sanderberg. Back to Bassett once more. Good bit of play this in the Premier League between Sunderland and Fulham. Fulham just enjoying a bit of spell of possession, which I've not said much this afternoon. If you're just joining us today, it remains 0-0 between Sunderland and Fulham in the Premier League. What can Calvin Bassett do here with possession? He finds Sanderberg infield to Alex Iwobi, who gets the ball forward. There, Smith Rowe. Ryan Sessegnon just kills it just over the top of the crossbar. Really good bit of movement from Fulham, getting it forward. But the last bit of movement was poor in the end, and it remains 0-0 between Sunderland and Fulham. And that's a good bit of play again from Fulham to the edge of the penalty area. And a good ball in from Smith Rowe. He cuts infield and then just couldn't keep his effort down. He's right there, Sessegnon, trying to kill it away. Plus that top corner, but just didn't have enough pace to get it. Didn't have much go to get it down. Then testing the goalkeeper, Warren Russo, plays it into midfield, and there's Diarra, who puts it out of play. Actually, there was no Sadiq put it out of play there. And it remains 0-0. There's Mukalele on the bench, who was substituted early on and due to an injury. He doesn't look happy that he was forced up with an injury. It's Kevin. He towards the penalty claimed by Robin Ropes, who does well again there. You see Sunderland goalkeeper, and it remains 0-0 if you're just tuning into us here this afternoon. The ball from Sunderland with Ballard now sending it downfield, trying to get Brian Blobby away. It's out of play for a throw, which Gertruda will look to take. You can see there Marco Silva barking out some instructions to his team, and a lot of fans don't see that from their managers. Barking out some instructions. The game's ongoing as we wait against Taylor Thread. He took it from the wrong position there, Gertruda. Has been told to go back by referee Craig Paulson. And he takes it from the correct position this time. He's now got another throw. Just a couple of yards away from the Fulham technical area. And Marcus with good sportsmanship from Silva. He passes the ball to Gertrude to take. Still in a few yards to Gertrude. And Fulham have got the ball back, so play will continue. We're giving the ball away this time. Here is Arderete. He gives the ball away, but gets the ball back. He was fortunate there to win the ball back quickly off at Smith Rowe. It's a ball forward, and now Fulham with Wilson look to come forward. Into Smith Rowe. Back he goes now to Sanderberg. Across to Calvin Bassett. Further wide. Sessegnon. There is Kevin. Good bit of play back to Calvin Bassett this time. That's still 0-0 in the other two games between Nottingham Forest and Liverpool and Crystal Palace and Wolves. Tottenham Arsenal to come later here on the channel at 4:30 as well in the Premier League, and that's the other Premier League game taking place there in the Premier League. Rounds up tomorrow when we have coverage of Everton against Manchester United. It remains 0-0 here as well as the 2 o'clock kickoffs. 28 minutes on the clock here at the Stadium of the Light. There's been no real goal-mouth action to shout home about as of yet for either of these two sides. It remains 0-0 between Sunderland and Fulham as the ball will come forward. Good bit of play up into Gertrude, gets the ball forward. Here's Sadiq and on the fair. Fouled by Sanderberg. Craig Paulson must have a word with Sanderberg there. Calls him over. Walking in, but he called him over 2 or 3 times. The ball traces. I think she said no more because that's, well, 2 or 3 fouls he's done now. And he pulled back Enzo Lafayette. I think he was trying to swap shirts after just 29 minutes of the match. Sandy, if you want his shirt, just wait till the end of the game and ask him for it then, rather than during the game, my friend. Still 0-0 though. If you're just joining us, between Sunderland and Fulham in the Premier League. We'll recap the scores from the Premier League thus far this weekend, as well as the matches in the EFL, and as well for you, Championship, League 1 and League 2. All took place this weekend. We'll keep an eye on those matches for you. I'll tell you how those matches went on for you as well. There's already been a relegation from the Football League today. Sheffield Wednesday knew they had to win today's game against Steel City rivals Sheffield United and to win the game. However, they couldn't do that, and they were relegated at the end of the match. I'll tell you the full-time score in that game, but all you do know right now is that the game finished and Sheffield Wednesday didn't pick up the 3 points. So if they drew or lost in that game, they were relegated. Well, you know, what bad result was a little bit later on. Both teams in that Steel City derby finished with 10 men. Calvin Phillips, the former Leeds man on loan from Manchester City in the Premier League. Manchester City are. Calvin Phillips on loan to Sheffield United, sent off for a bad challenge on Ingolson as it followed through, took him onto the knee after he initially won the ball. Did the former Leeds United man. And then, just as they went into stoppage time, Sheffield Wednesday saw red as well in that Steel City derby there through. Etaboyega was the one who got sent off for Sheffield Wednesday on a day which relegation was confirmed for the Owls from the Championship back down to the third tier. They're on -7 points in the Championship, and that's hard for the fans there after what they've gone through this season with Def John Chansey, with the unpaid wages and rent fines and points deductions. For the fans of Sheffield Wednesday and the staff that remain, it remains 0-0 here between Sunderland and Fulham in the Premier League. If you're just joining us as well today, same scoreline in the other 2 Premier League games between Crystal Palace and Wolverhampton Wanderers, and Nottingham Forest and Liverpool, as Fulham considered a free kick. Brilliant play by Brian Robbie to win it. He did well there to win the ball, control it well, and then just gets taken out by Calvin Bassett, and it remains 0-0. There's a man, Yoslin, is down here for Sunderland, and if he has to go off, it'll be 2 early changes will have to be made by Sunderland in this game. A bit of treatment for the winger, who has impressed me so far. Reggie Lebray is start talking to his coaching staff, and Zuma looks very concerned about him there, as he knows that if he has to make a change here, they'll only have 1 window left to make the remaining 3 changes with, unless he takes off a player at half time, and then he will have 1 change left to make. Later today for you on the channel is the North London derby, Spurs against Arsenal in the Premier League. Will be on air from 4 25 for that one. Kick-off at 4:30. Tottenham against Arsenal in the Premier League. Make sure you join us for that one. That is one you don't want to miss. As there's Anguilla with the free kick forward, cleared away by Fulham. Anguilla there again. As Kevin just got beyond him and he's moved the ball off him and he's played it now in Wilson. Tries to get the ball across for Emil Smith Rowe at the back post. A good piece of defending work yet again. There it remains. No, look at this one from Kevin. He does well. You think Anguilla's got the better of him there, but he does well to nip in. Wilson streams in and then his ball looking for Smith Rowe was brilliantly blocked by Trey Hume, who come across from left back to cover that. There, the corner whipped into the penalty area. There's a man down inside the penalty area. He's out of play for a throw into Fulham. There was a Fulham man down inside the penalty area as that corner came in. And I think they are checking it, I think. Let's look at this again. Who is it who goes down? Is Kenny Tete down, but he pulls down Dan Ballard. So VAR did have a quick check on that, I'm told, but nothing untoward, and the play continues. Throwing again, he's headed away by Sunderland. There's a man down with an head injury inside the penalty area for Sunderland, and it's Abib Diarra, the number 19, who's down here for Sunderland. Inside the penalty area, Jocelyn T is down again, and it looks like his afternoon, morning or evening, depending where you're listening from, is over as well. And that would be bad news for Sunderland, making two changes in the first half. And Abib Diarra is being told to go off of the field because of an head injury. She'll check for an head injury. Just think the initial corner again when they'll check for potential penalty for foul on Kenny Tete. We look at Tete fouled Ballard. Diarra is off the field of play against him, treating for an head injury. Jocelyn T may have to come off as well. You see who gets some treatment. We may have to be substituted off. So Sunderland may have to be down to 10 men very shortly while Abib Diarra continues to receive treatment. And it's going to be another change here. Just trying to see who is coming on here for Sunderland to replace Jocelyn. As we look here, it is, let's see if you can tell by his number shirt on. Number 14, Romain Mundle, is about to come on here for Sunderland. I'm surprised it's fictional. Mundle normally plays on the left hand side, and where Anguilla is playing. I would have probably gone like for like in place of fixed on Tresdine Talby rather than brought on Romain Mundle if I was in Reggie Libby's shoes. But he remains 0-0 in the Premier League. If you're just tuning into us, Russ Vernon guiding you through the action this afternoon of Sunderland against Fulham. Elsewhere in the Premier League this afternoon, it is still goalless in all of our matches between Crystal Palace and Wolves and Nottingham Forest, Liverpool. Jocelyn's just making his way off the field now. 2 bookings for Crystal Palace so far, using Canvot in that game there as Romain Mundle introduction is confirmed. And there's been a booking in the Forest game. Morgan Gibbs-White picks up a yellow card there. No bookings in our match and no goals in our match. No goals in any of the Premier League matches taking place today thus far. It remains Sunderland 0, Fulham 0 in the Premier League. If you're just joining us this afternoon, as NFL there by Calvin Bassey. The ball now in behind for Anguilla was on to cross this right hand side now. Low cross is deflected behind for a corner. Good bit of play there. As Sunderland tried to come forward And there's been 2 changes already for Sunderland. On my right hand side, Mukalele to go for Gertruda, and Mundle was on the Yoselin Tower and Willa moves to the right. Mundle's now on the left. From what I can see, corner kick then for Sunderland is poor. That's another poor set piece. There's Romain Mundle challenging for possession, but Kevin's won it off him. Now he's Jimenez in for Kevin. Back in for Jimenez. Jimenez. Ball in field. Cleared away by Sunderland. Enzo Lefebvre to Abib Diarra Gertruda. Now Sadiki. Now Ballard again. Good bit of movement. Enzo Lefebvre turns away from his man. There's Abib Diarra charging forward. He's got goals in him as Abib Diarra. He's Anguilla. Back into Diarra once more. Giving the ball away. Wilson. Can't look for it. So he goes to Iwobi from Smith Rowe in the end. As he tried to count Wilson initially. As he's no Sadiki! Forces his first save of the game from either of the 2 goalkeepers. Firmino watches it all the way. You can see it all the way, and he's a comfortable save. We go for the cameras. More than anything there, because I think could have just stood up and you still saved it. And there's a man down here for Fulham. Raul Jimenez holding his head. I think the free kick has gone again. Raul Jimenez for a foul on Dan Ballard, and Raul Jimenez picks up a yellow card for the challenge there of Dan Ballard. Or on Dan Ballard, should I say. It remains 0-0 as we approach the final 4 minutes of this game. Been a good game to watch so far, but just lacking the end product for both games. That's his 5th yellow card of the season for Raul Jimenez in the Premier League as we watch on. It remains 0-0 between Sunderland and Fulham this afternoon. Russ Vernon guiding you through the action today. Here's Kevin. He's got Gertruda, nips it back off him. Here's Abib Diarra. Ballard drops it to Alderete. Out wide to Treyum. Alderete bad, then he sends the ball forward for you, where he pushes it out of play in the end. She's a man down for Fulham here. I'm trying to see which player it is who's down here for Fulham, right near the line here. Is it Kevin here? Where it is just took his boot off. Yes, it is Kevin who's down here. I'm trying to see what happened to Kevin. He just gets a slight stamp on the ball as he tries to win possession and keep possession for Fulham. Accidental by Gertruda that, but he remains 0-0. Played first 2.5 minutes in the Premier League, still goalless in the other 2 games in the Premier League today between Crystal Palace and Wolves, Nottingham Forest and Liverpool, and also here in the featured match this afternoon. However, there's been a penalty in the other game, and Wolves have missed a penalty against Crystal Palace. Tolu's penalty saved by Dean Henderson. It was a poor penalty, and it was telegraphed where it was going to go. Henderson would just stand there, look where he was going to place it, and just dive there, dive the right way, and make a comfortable stop. It remains 0-0 in the game at Selhurst Park. We'll keep you bang up to date with anything that happens in that there. As Kevin limps away, he's down again, he's shaking his head like he can't continue here. And the coaching staff is pulling his feet off of the field of play so he can. So the game can get restarted. Needs help here. Kevin, I'm just looking at this again from the Gertruda here. Didn't really see much wrong in it. Man, let's look at this angle, is it? I don't think he catches him now, but maybe just catches him slightly on his foot, on his toes, but not giving that. It's fully about to prepare to make a change. And it looks like it could be Oscar Bob. To me, who could be coming on here. We'll get confirmation of that one very, very soon. Tolu Akrode misses that penalty. It was who missed the penalty for Fulham. Not Fulham, for Wolves, should I say. It remains 0-0 in the Premier League matches. We're all coming into stoppage time now as end of the first halves. We'll keep you up to date with those scores there as the ball's going out of play, and it will be a corner kick to Sunderland as we enter stoppage time at the end of this first half. Just trying to work out how many minutes have been added on. The substitution sees Oscar Bob come on for Kevin for Fulham as Fulham City player comes on. We're into stoppage time now, and there is 7 minutes added on at the end of this first half. 7 minutes added on at the end of this first period. And it remains 0-0. Wonderful bit of play. Ends over the face out of the penalty. Pulls the ball back. Young with the effort. First round ball by the fans rather than the players of Sunderland. As the ball is put back forward down Ballard's chest after it will be offside, I think. Controls it, but Sanderberg clears it away. The flag no up there, so he would have counted and he put it in the back of the net. He is able to move down the other end now for Fulham. Crossing towards the back post where Emil Smith Rowe is, and he keeps the ball for Fulham here. A bit of play. Tete with the ball in. As away on as far as Oscar Bob makes a penalty. Bob is it in for Jimenez. Now it will be back to Bob again. It will be once more. Berg. It will be Tete. Kenny Tete lines up a strike. And he's still rising away to my left hand side of that strike there. And it remains 0-0, as he does in the other two games in the Premier League this afternoon. Nottingham Crystal Palace against Wolves, where Wolves have missed a penalty, and also Nottingham Forest against Liverpool in the Premier League. We played 2 of the 7 minutes added on here. And Wolves just moved it back because he wasn't right on the spot according to the referee. Now allows him to take it. And Wolves sends it long downfield with his left boot. Ryan Bobby trying to win the ball up there. Sanderberg gets it forward. Wilson watches it bounce into the centre circle for Dan Ballard to find Gertruda. He gets the ball forward. Van Willow turns away from his man. He pulled down there by Ryan Sessegnon. The referee says no, and play will continue. Sunderland wanted a free kick there, nothing given as Alex Iwobi comes forward. The man down for Sunderland, and Willow's down. So Fulham will play on. He's not in any injury. Sanderberg will bring this ball forward. Sunderland will ask him to pull the ball out of play. Instead he goes to Oscar Bob. Bob just takes a bit of time. Back infield he goes. Going now back up. Sanderberg across now to Anderson. Tete there. Good play from Fulham, not to put it out. You can see when he realised they weren't going to put it out, he gets back up straight away. Half time in the other two Premier League games, 0-0. The Sellers Pub between Crystal Palace and Wolves, and Nottingham Forest and Liverpool, the City Ground. Here is Emil Smith Rowe. These fans will remember when they went up under Marcelo Bielsa and won the title. He was the hero promoted, scoring the only goal of the game for Huddersfield. Or scoring the goal for Huddersfield against West Bromwich Albion, which confirmed Leeds' promotion. The following day, Leeds won the title for even kicking a ball on the Sunday. That was the Friday night Huddersfield game. Next day, on the Saturday, Leeds won the title without kicking a ball, and then played against Derby County and gave us a Guard of Honour. That's it. Following season is, which was the season after Leeds missed out in the playoffs to Derby County, which made it even more funnier, especially with former Chelsea legend Frank Lampard, the manager there, at the game or at Derby County on those occasions. He's now in charge of Coventry City, who did a remarkable job on West Bromwich Albion yesterday, 2-0 victors in the Premier League there. Raul Jimenez was penalised for a foul there. Just looking at this again on Arderete. Only eyes for the ball. They both clashed heads. I don't know how the referee, Craig Pawson, can give that one way or the other. Both players had eyes on the ball, and it was just a clash of heads. I didn't see anything wrong with that one there. It remains 0-0 in the Premier League between Sunderland and Fulham. Sunderland will look to try and get a goal just for half time, but they won't be able to allow that Oscar Bob's position to Diarra, who fires just over the top of the crossbar. And it remains 0-0 between Sunderland and Fulham. Good bit of play there from Habib Diarra. And he's gone eye wide and not so handsome. Going up to 51 minutes into the final minute of the game, of this first period. Still goalless if you're just joining us. As that is cleared along downfield, headed there by Dan Ballard, cleared away brilliantly, headed forward by Sanderberg. And he will get Tete there, who can come forward. He has to go back to his goalkeeper, Burnley. Fulham are just maintaining possession, trying to run down the clock, get to half time, so they can change things around. Sunderland have played well. Here's Wilson, out wide to Oscar Bob. Can he bob and weave past his man? No pun intended. He has done. Until the penalty, Oscar Bob pulls the ball across. Can't forget Aaron Wilson. Referee Greg Wilson looks at his watch. Closing stages of the first half. Calvin Batley drops it back to Joachim Anderson as the half-time whistle now blows here. And the Stadium of Lighting is also 0-0 here in the Premier League as well. Good first half, just lacking the quality in the final third from both of these sides. But at half-time in the Premier League, it's 0-0 between Sunderland and Fulham. As you can see there, both had 4 shots each, 1 on target for Sunderland, none for Fulham, 50-50 in terms of possession. There, 6 corners to Sunderland, 1 to Fulham at half-time. Right then, let's take a quick look at the scores from the weekend thus far before we go for our break at half-time. Starting off with the Premier League. Aston Villa 1, Leeds United 1. Brentford 0, Brighton Hove Albion 2. Chelsea 1, Burnley 1. West Ham United 0, AFC Bournemouth 0. Manchester City 2, Newcastle United 1. And at half-time, it is Crystal Palace 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0. Nottingham Forest 0, Liverpool 0. And Sunderland 0, Fulham 0. Tottenham against Arsenal is a 4:30 kick-off. And tomorrow night's Premier League game is Everton against Manchester United. You can hear the next 2 matches here live with us here on the commentary. Let's take a look then at the EFL Championship. Friday night, Blackburn Rovers 1, Preston North End 0. Hull City 1, Queen's Park Rangers 3. Stoke City 2, Leicester City 2, Swansea City 1, Bristol City 0, West Bromwich Albion 0, Coventry City 2, Middlesbrough 0, Oxford United 0, Millwall 1, Portsmouth 3, Norwich City 1, Birmingham City 2, Southampton 1, Charlton Athletic 1, Watford 2, Derby County 0, Wrexham 5, Ipswich Town 3, and then this afternoon Sheffield United 2, Sheffield Wednesday 1. Sheffield Wednesday have been officially relegated from the Championship into EFL League 1. All played yesterday. Plymouth Argyle 5, Cardiff City 2, London United 1, Doncaster Rovers 2, Wycombe Wanderers 3, Stevenage 1, AFC Wimbledon 3, Bradford City 1, Bolton Wanderers 2, Blackpool 2, Huddersfield Town 2, Barnsley 1, Luton Town 1, Burton Albion 1, Mansfield Town 0, Lincoln City 2, Northampton Town 1, Leyton Orient 2, Peterborough United 3, Exeter City 3, Port Vale 1, Reading 1, Stockport County 4, Wigan Athletic 2. EFL League 2. Fleetwood Town 3, Barrow 2, Swindon Town 1, Crewe Alexandra 2, Accrington Stanley 0, Shrewsbury Town 2, Bristol Rovers 3, Grimsby Town 1, Cheltenham Town 3, Salford City 2, Colchester United 4, Barnet 1, Crawley Town 1, Chesterfield 1, Gillingham 0, Oldham Athletic 3, Harrogate Town 0, Bromley 0, Newport County 0, Cambridge United 2, Notts County 5, Tranmere Rovers 0. Monday Night Football sees Walsall take on Milton Keynes Dons at 8 p.m. So then, at half time here in the Premier League, it's 0-0 between Sunderland and Fulham. We're going to take a break right now, but we'll be back in plenty of time for the start of the second half. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Premier League on TCHub Live. Sunderland against Fulham in the Premier League is 0-0 at half time. Welcome back to the CommentAtorsHub's coverage of Sunderland against Fulham at the Stadium of Light on match week number 27 in the Premier League. It's 0-0 at half time. Which of these sides are going to come out on top at the end of this game to see who will be victorious? Will we get a winner today? Or will we have the goalless draw as the players make their way out? That's Craig Pawson coming out as well with the Sunderland players. Trey Young there, the captain. Alderete, Ballard, Ropes, who seems to be no changes for Sunderland at half time from what I can see there. They did make 2 changes in that first half. Fulham are already back out there as well. And looks like could be no changes for them at half time either. As they're ready for the start of the second half of Fulham, and some of the players coming out of the tunnel for or on the bench. There's the Fulham bench. There's Marco Silva talking to his backroom staff as Fulham are about to get this game back underway very, very shortly through Alex Iwobi, who will knock it all the way back to his goalkeeper in a minute. Now he's gone back and we're underway for the second half. Gone back to Joachim Andersen, who sends this ball long downfield and flicked on there to Oscar Bob. We blast off from Fulham early exchanges as they've been forced backwards, so this time it's Calvin Bassett to Joachim Andersen just to run about the centre circle. Being forced to go to Kenny Tete, which is on the right hand side. For Harry Wilson in field, and he's given the ball away to Sunderland as they will look to come forward, bringing the teams very, very soon in the start of the second half. Here's Smith throwing field for Jimenez. Now Sander Berg. Berg will look to come forward. Here's Harry Wilson. The 2 teams on your screen, incidentally, we'll read them out to you in a second. Here is Harry Wilson in field to Sanderberg now by White Harry Wilson again. Here's Kenny Tete, who goes back into the field to Joachim Andersen. Now Calvin Bassett once more. And now further out wide it goes to Ryan Sessegnon, back to Calvin Bassett again. Inside the centre circle for Joachim Andersen. Towards this right hand side for Harry Wilson, who drops deep. Smith plays a 1-2 with Wilson. Who goes this time back to Kenny Tete. Infield to Sanderberg. Good ball infield there to Joachim Andersen. Crossfield ball. Is it too much on that in the end, it looks like? Yes, too much on that. So we'll give you the teams now for the start of the second half for Sunderland. We'll line up with Robin Roofs in goal. Gertrude, Ballard, Alderete and Newman across the back. Gertrude and Mundell on in their 2 changes. Then it's Siddiqui. Then it is Anguilla, Diarra, the Faye and Mundell, who came on for Jocelyn in that first half. Brian Brobby leads the line for Fulham in the second half. They line up no changes, only 1 change that they had to make in the first half. We saw Oscar Bob come on for Kevin. They line up with Ben Leno in goal. Tete, the captain, Anderson, Bassey and Sessegnon across the back. Iwobi and Berg in front of the back 4. Wilson, Smith Rowe and Bob now behind Raul Jimenez in the attack for Fulham. And the only change they've had to make thus far in the game. It remains 0-0 as we played 2.5 minutes of this second period. Kenny Tete with the ball. Down the line he goes, giving the ball away. Sunderland managed to keep it in for Romain Mundell, who came on for the injured Jocelyn Tart in the first half. And now here is Noah Siddiqui. Siddiqui will look up. He's playing in front of the back 4 today for Sunderland. Sometimes in part of a back 3 with Alderete towards this left, Siddiqui towards right and Ballard in the centre. Here's Enzo Lafayette. Just loses out and it'll be a throw-in to Sunderland. Romain Mundell will leave it. And taking the throw-in instead is Trey Young up from the left back position to take it. Midway inside the Fulham half, just a couple of yards away from the Earths, who sends it long downfield looking for the run of Enzo Lefebvre's onside. Enzo Lefebvre brings it down well, cuts back. Let's look through a shot now. Tries to play through the gap, which was not there in the end. Shot comes in from Diarra, just wide. Effectively was Gertrude with the effort. And wide it goes in the end. In 4 minutes of the second half. Good start by both sides. Good ball forward. Enzo Lefebvre on the side. I'm just thinking, he needs to hit it there. If he hits it there, it could have caused problems. And then tries to play through that gap, which was quickly closed up by Kenny Tete. His clearance for Gertrude. Will find it into the ground and bounce wide. Flick on by Raul Jimenez. And Fulham give possession away. Kenny Tete slides in and gives away a free kick, does he, according to the referee? Yes, he does. Foul on the main Mundo. The free kick has been taken quickly. Robin Ropes now finds Alderete with possession. Back to the goalkeeper, Ropes, who not really had much to do today. Neither was Leno. Only had one shot on target we've had in the game. It remains 0-0 if you're just tuning into us this afternoon. In this Premier League encounter, Sunderland versus Fulham in the Premier League, 0-0 is the scoreline. Sunderland will look to try and change that as poor pass from Gertrude in the end. Here's Trey Young, good ball in the field to Siddiqui, takes a good touch and he turns away from his man. Good bit of play there from Trey Young to turn away from his man after a good pass from Siddiqui. Fulham forced to go back. They've been pushed backwards a little bit in the second half after they had a bit of early possession. It's got Trudy out wide. It goes to that left hand side as Fulham would keep all the possession, still goalless in the other two games in the Premier League this afternoon. Rangers, Danny Wolves Rangers, and on the roll so far in Scotland in the SPFL. They're trailing by a goal to Livingston after just 14 minutes. There, that kicked off at 3 o'clock after they played in Europe on Thursday evening. Ball is in, forward is cleared away. Here is Remain Mundo. Trey Young. Good ball from Trey Young was looked initially. Gertrude wins it back. And it's Remain Mundo! Oh! That should be 1-0 for that should be 1-0 to Sunderland. I was expecting the net to bulge there from Remain Mundo. And he has put it wide. How has he not scored there? Remain Mundo does everything right. Plays it back where he comes from. And if we just look at this again, Gertrude played him in. Instead of going that way, if he went with his other foot to the other side, he may have scored. And the near goalkeeper's near post and is going to go far. That's a warning side for Fulham. Of what Sunderland can do in around that penalty area. Apart from hitting the target. Ryan Bobby tries to get behind then. He will pull back. Enough for a foul. As then he cleared away by Byrne Leno. Up towards Raul Jimenez. Sunderland cleared away. Only as far as Tete Verberg. Now Smith Rowe. Emil Smith Rowe does well to find Joachim Anderson. Ball over the top. Larry Wilson, who's onside. Wilson crossed into the penalty area. Jimenez. Iwobi blocked. Behind the corner by and that was a brilliant ball by Trey Young. That was almost 1-0 Fulham there. Good piece of defensive work in the end. Just tuning into us, it remains 0-0 between Sunderland and Fulham, same scoreline in the other two Premier League encounters. We're getting closer to a goal, I feel. What can Fulham do from this set piece? Alex Iwobi's shot was blocked for this corner. He will tear the corner in towards the penalty area. Jimenez is 1-0! And Fulham have taken the lead. Wow, Jimenez heads on the first goal of the afternoon. It's a brilliant header from Raul Jimenez. on 54 minutes. And the corner kick was played into the penalty area. And he was headed home by Raul Jimenez. I just said, I feel like a goal is coming. And there he was. Raul Jimenez left unmarked inside the penalty area. And he just heads it home confidently and comfortably into the bottom corner. Robin Roos rotated to the spot. And it's Sunderland 0, Fulham 1. Raul Jimenez has 7 goals of the season. He's Fulham's number 7. And that for Fulham at the start of the second half. He just had a shot blocked. And then no one picked him up from the corner. And if you're going to be that poor defensively, then wow. You deserve to drop down the table. I don't think Sunderland will go down, but they could be in danger of finishing the bottom half of the Premier League. I mean, only a few weeks earlier, finishing the top, and the referee delayed there, was given a free kick to Fulham foul on Harry Wilson by Trey Hume. Just trying to see this again. I also thought he could have been a booking there for Trey Hume. Let's look at this from this angle here. Look like foul. Yes, clear foul. And for me, that could be a booking. Another day, that's a booking. Wilson's shaking his head. He's not happy. No booking given. But it remains 1-0 to Fulham here in the Premier League. If you're just joining us this afternoon. And Wilson and Alex Iwobi sending over this set play. Craig Pawson blows his whistle. And Wilson delivers it in. There's a man going down. Fulham wanted a penalty foul on Calvin Bassey. Calvin Bassey runs across to the referee. He's telling them to wait. I think VAR will be checking this. Joachim Anderson, the captain's there. Let's look at this from this angle. It's a clear shape pull. Calvin Bassey's going to attack that ball in. And you can see Diarra, Ryan Bobby clearly pulls him back. And for me, that should be a penalty. I think VAR are checking this one. VAR is supposed to tell him to wait. He's listening to VAR on his earpiece. I just want to look at this from this angle here. Is he not? I don't think he's off. We'll probably check if he's offside. So if he's not offside, then I think this will be given as a penalty. They're checking for a possible offside as well as a penalty here. The referee is going across to the monitor. And you know what that means when they go across to the monitor. He normally gets given as Krejci has been sent off for Wolves in the 61st minute at Selhurst Park. Still goalless there in that game. It's still goalless between Nottingham Forest and Liverpool. We're looking at the team on the VAR review. They must have clearly seen his own side, and there's this pull here. Ray Pawson nods his head as he's been spoken to by the VAR down at Stockley Park. I thought we were going to have to mention them today. Tony Harrington and Wade Smith speaking to Craig Pawson here. Anything we'd have to speak to them. Yeah. And Craig Pawson. He's open mic, and he's about to tell the crowd what's he giving here. Let's see what it says. I'll tell you. After review, Sunderland 9, he's holding the fence on the penalty area. Final decision is a penalty kick to Fulham and a yellow card to Sunderland's number 9. So Brian Bobby commits a holding the fence on Calvin Bassey. It's a penalty kick to Fulham and a yellow card for Brian Bobby. So Fulham have a chance now from the penalty spot to double their advantage. That's Brian Bobby's third yellow card of the season. It remains 1-0 to Fulham, with Raul Jimenez, who's already scored today with an header from the corner, has a chance to double his side's lead and get his 8th goal of the season. Will he do that after foul by Brian Bobby on Calvin Bassey? Raul Jimenez steps up, stops, scores into the bottom corner, and Fulham have doubled their advantage from the penalty spot. It's 2-0, and it's another goal for Fulham's number 7, Raul Jimenez, from the penalty spot. This time he runs up, stops, runs up, slippers, and sends Robbie Ropes the wrong way. And 2 goals in the second half, 1 on 54 and 1 on 61 minutes, gives Fulham a 2-goal lead here at Craven at the Stadium of Light, and moves Fulham up to 10th above both Newcastle and Sunderland. What a game this has been today. There's been another goal in the SPFL. Celtic are trailing by a goal to Birmingham at Celtic Park. Free kick to Fulham, foul on Sanderberg there as well. And Sunderland, a really frustrating day of the office for them this afternoon. You've got to wonder what Reggie Lebree must be doing right now. And Raul Jimenez has scored all 13 penalties he has taken in the Premier League. Which is a remarkable stat in itself. And I love my statistics. And now, Sunderland trying to come forward. Referee says play on. Wonderful challenge there. And that Sunderland have got a man down. It's the number 10 who's down. Nielsen Anguillo. Nielsen Anguillo is down following the challenge from Joachim Andersen. Sunderland aren't happy with the challenge from Joachim Andersen, but Andersen wins the ball. It's a brilliant challenge. It's a 50-50 challenge. How is he supposed to pull out there when he's won the ball and we've gone and above, and it's very, very close? I think the referee there, Ray Paulson, got that spot on by not giving a free kick. As Rodrigo Muniz is about to come on here for Fulham. Just when they see his 4 pump. Maybe for the 2-goal man, well, Jimenez, because when I've seen Fulham this season, they've never really played in the same team. One's either come on for the other. So it's supposed to be if he goes off here, Raul Jimenez. Well, he's got 2 goals to his name. We're just looking at those goals now. There's the first one, the header, really from a corner. And the second one from a penalty after Calvin Bassey was pulled back inside the penalty area. And Raul Jimenez who scored 2 goals today, looks like he may be coming off, I would imagine. No confirmation. That's not confirmed just yet. We're waiting confirmation of that change, but I would say it probably would be him. Waiting official confirmation though. Jimenez is still there. No number has been lifted up yet. Just waiting for confirmation. It looks like it probably would be him. Raul Jimenez still on the field at the moment. He's just waiting for the referee to give the go ahead for that substitution to be made. But it looks like it probably will be him. Something about to be made now. And yes, I was correct. Raul Jimenez makes his way off the field of play to be replaced by Rodrigo Muniz. I called it before it even came on board. 65 minutes in the bank, 2 goals in the bank on 54, 51 minutes respectively from Raul Jimenez, as he is replaced by the Brazilian Rodrigo Muniz. Hugs from the manager. It says Rodrigo Muniz who's on in his place now. Muniz linked with a move to Leeds United in the summer, never came off. And Alex Iwobi switches the play for Harry Wilson. Now here is Kenny Tete for Fulham as we back underway now after Hutchins has aired. There is the Fulham possession in play. Was the Iwobi. You see Anguilla out there off of the field. Tinos is in for the game between Spurs and Arsenal as Igor Tudor, the new interim head coach of Spurs, who replaced Thomas Frank. That game's coming up later after us this afternoon. Paul James will be on commentary for that one. And he looks, from a Spurs point of view, it looks like it's a 3-4-2-1 formation today for Spurs. I'm just looking at what the Arsenal lineup looks like. Looks like it's a 4. Just looking at their lineup. 4-2-3-1 it looks like for Arsenal this afternoon. Here comes Muniz for Fulham, who's giving possession away. Someone will try and come forward with Diarra. How wide it goes, a push in the bag of Truda. And a free kick to Fulham, and that's 4 from the Sunderland right back. Because he was never getting away from him there. In the end. If Mundell had scored there before the goals for Fulham, it would have probably changed the complexion of the entire game as a whole. He's 7-4 looking for Rodrigo Muniz to chase after. Dan Ballard was there mopping up and winning the header. Now Sunderland with Siddiqui to find Alderete. Sunderland tries to come forward. Here's Trey Young. How wide is Romain Mundell up against Kenny Tete, who's had quite an easy afternoon up against him. Here's Enzo Lefebvre. Low ball into the penalty area, cuts out. And here's Emil Smith-Rowe. Sanderberg skips away from his man. Romain Mundell. Ryan Robbie. The cross. Shot Anguilla over the top of the crossbar. That really should be 2-1. How has he not scored there? Wow. How has he not scored? Wow. How has he not scored there? He's willing bit of play from Sunderland. He's played out well there. You really should be hitting the target there. I thought the goalkeeper got saved. Let's see if he does from this angle. Maybe just got a slight fingertip to it. This will probably tell us. Yes, what a save from Bern Leno. A fingertip save in the end there. What a save it has been. What a save. There we have just seen fantastic piece of goalkeeping from Burnley as Granit Xhaka, the club captain of Sunderland, will be about to come on here as Sunderland look to try and get back into it. And for me, I know people normally say one man doesn't make a team, but for me, I feel Sunderland are a better side when Granit Xhaka is in the team. And it looks like it's going to be Brian Brobby will be coming off for Wilson Isidore. He's also going to come on here. Let's double check here for you as the first change will be made. It is number 9, Brian Brobby, off for Wilson Isidore. It's going to be number 10, Nelson Anguilla, off to be replaced by Eliza Mayenda. And the third and final change, we'll see the club captain of sees Habib Diarra be replaced by Granit Xhaka. You come up on the board, the Wilson Isidore would only just come on for Brian Brobby, being replaced by Granit Xhaka there, but I can tell you confirmation is Habib Diarra off, Granit Xhaka on, Nelson Anguilla off, Eliza Mayenda on, and Brian Brobby off, Wilson Isidore on is the changes for Sunderland as they look to get back into this game. Ball not back for goalkeeper Robin Roofs. He closed down by Emil Smith-Rowe. That's a good ball over the top. But Calvin Bassey brilliantly heads it back to his goalkeeper there. Brilliant there. Good bit of play there. Is there a foul in there? The referee says play on. Fullman gone down. Mundo's there. Play on. It was Smith-Rowe went down. Here's Noah Siddiqui. Infield to Granit Xhaka. Siddiqui again. Siddiqui's being forced backwards. In the second half, Fulham are the only team to have a shot on target with 2. Sunderland yet to have a shot on target to test Burn Leno in the second half, and they've had 3 attempts. If you're a Sunderland fan listening to this, let that sink in. You've yet to have a shot on target and you're yet to test Burn Leno this afternoon, especially in this second half. It remains 2-0 to Fulham. There's a ball played forward, cleared away. Sunderland will try and come forward again. Eliza Mayenda tries to keep the ball in play, but did he manage to keep it in play there? Fulham, yes, according to the referee. Play will continue with goalkeeper Robin Roofs having the ball at the back. Very soon I'll be having to give my player of the match to Paul James. Very, very soon. Who's my producer for this afternoon's game. Is also going to be the man getting through the Tottenham versus Arsenal game later on this afternoon as well as Paul. Make sure you join in to us from 4:25 for our next live offering from the Premier League today. Will Arsenal get their season back on track, or will Spurs get a first win under new boss Igor Tudor? Ball into the penalty area, headed away, still goalless in the other 2 matches in the Premier League. Crystal Palace 0, Wolves 0. Wolves down to 10 member. Retry sent off on 61, and it's still 0-0 between Nottingham Forest and Liverpool at the City Ground. Whereas here we've had 2 goals, both for the away side. As here's Dan Ballard trying to keep the ball in play. Yes, he's gone down to the penalty. The referee says penalty to Sunderland. Sunderland have a chance to get one back. Ballard is the man fouled inside the penalty area by Ryan Sessegnon. And Sunderland have a chance from 12 yards to get back into the game. Kept in well by Gertruda. And then Dan Ballard is pulled down quite clearly by Ryan Sessegnon. He does well against Oscar Bob. And then he just scrubs on him there, pulls him down. And that could be a yellow. If, for me, what I'm going to say is here, if Calvin Bassett was booked, not Calvin Bassett, if Brian Bobby was booked for the pull of the shirt like that, for Fulham penalty early on in the second half, then Ryan Sessegnon should also be booked for the pull of the shirt as well. So if not, where is the consistency? Penalty is confirmed. He's just told Burnley no, the making his goal as it's confirmed. Enzo Lefebvre, it looks like he's going to be spotting this ball down. So, yes, it is. Enzo Lefebvre, the number 28 for Sunderland, will have a chance to pull one back here. But for me, I'm surprised that Ryan Sessegnon wasn't booked there. And Enzo Lefebvre up against Burnley. Enzo Lefebvre scores! 2-1. Game on. Burnley dives the right way, but couldn't keep it out. And Sunderland are back in this game with 15 minutes left to play. An emphatic penalty from Enzo Lefebvre. I think he may have just got fingertips to it. Let's have a look. Does he get fingertips to it? He does get a fingertip to it. Can't keep it out. And Sunderland have a goal. And then as Enzo Lefebvre tries to grab the ball, run up and grab the ball, he kicks the ball away. Just Burnley up. Well, Fulham, who have a 2-goal advantage, has been reduced to 1 after a silly decision by Ryan Sessegnon on Dan Ballard, who was going nowhere. And now Sunderland, could they get back into this game even more? Ball forward to Eliza Mayenda up against Calvin Bassey. And then inside the penalty area. Puts the ball back, Isidore! Over the top of the crossbar. What a game. What a game this has been. Fantastic stuff. What a bit of play that was from Sunderland. Eliza Mayenda, brilliant bit of play. Pulls it back to Wilson Isidore, whose shot goes over the top of the crossbar. So unlucky there for Sunderland, who almost fall back from 2-0 down to 2-2. Alan Leeds against Chelsea early on in the season, and that had happened. What a ball across here now. Can Sunderland keep the ball in play? No is the answer to that one. If it happens for the second time this season that a team has fall back from 2-0 down to get at least a point in the Premier League encounter, and Sunderland have got 16 points from losing positions this season. Only Aston Villa have won more points from losing positions with 19. Sunderland can't get another one from the losing position, can they? Ballard heads that ball away as Fulham tried to skip forward. Marco Silva was jumping for joy when the second goal went in. Now sat down on the bench with a nervous look on his face again. Ball sent forward by Fulham from that throw-in. Rodrigo Muniz heads it out wide to Oscar Bob, back to Alex Iwobi. There's Ryan Sessegnon, the man who is potentially giving Sunderland a route back into this game with a silly decision. As Isidore tries to close down Leno, and he closes down Bassey, but he clears away, does the big Nigerian. Straight out of play for a throw into Sunderland. They get on with it quickly, do they? the Black Cats. Elsewhere in the Premier League, I can tell you, it is still 0-0 between Crystal Palace and Wolverhampton Wanderers at Selhurst Park. Also 0-0 in the game between Nottingham Forest and Liverpool at the City Ground. It will be a long ball downfield from Sessegnon. Good control and well played. And here's Rodrigo Muniz charging forward to the penalty area. Picks out Harry Wilson, which forced him a bit wide than he would have wanted. Wilson edge of the penalty, left footed, crossed in deep. On this for Tete, who goes back now to Joachim Andersen. Midway inside the Sunderland half of the field. Here's Harry Wilson, who will try and keep possession for Fulham a little bit now, because Sunderland have grown into the game and closing them down with every opportunity, trying to win those second balls, which they've done there. They're truly sends the ball forward. What a ball! Noah Siddiqui's away. Wonderful from Noah Siddiqui, turns away from his man. Back to Enzo Lefebvre, the goal scorer. And then Jacques ball down the corner looking for Eliza Mayenda. Too much on that ball there. But what a game it has been here at the Stadium of Light. It's been fantastic. What a game. What a game this has been. Wilson Isidore does well to hold off his man, but the flag is up for offside against the striker. Very soon now, any second now, I'm going to pass over my player of the match after this attack from Fulham. Here's Emil Smith-Rowe. Out to Oscar Bob. Ball in towards the penalty, headed away. On this forward remain Mundle. He flicks it on for Calvin Bassey. On this forward now is Harry Wilson. Gets the ball down there for Kenny Tete. What a challenge from Remain Mundle. He's gone behind for a corner kick to Fulham. And it remains 2-1 to Fulham. Bassey flicks it on. Big over the top of the crossbar from close range. And that really should be 3-1. Bassey helped it back in. It's Sanderberg. So unlucky. What can they do here now? What can they do with possession now here? Here's Wilson Isidore. Tries to take on his man. Here's Elijah Mendes, sorry. Tries to take on his man there. And he's down for a goal kick to Fulham. Mayenda plays the ball to Burnley so they can go with it quickly instead of wasting a bit of time as he probably would have done otherwise. Bernardino takes time here to take this goal kick. Long downfield it goes from Bernardino. Flicked away by Sunderland and Dan Ballard. Enzo Lefebvre challenging for it. Good piece of defensive work there from Sunderland. A free kick. Foul by Rodrigo Muniz on Dan Ballard. And Sunderland pull pile men forward in search of an equaliser, and if they're not careful could get caught on the counter attack. So I've seen teams do that before. Granit Xhaka stands over this set piece. He sends the ball long, looking for Dan Ballard. He breaks the edge of the penalty here for Sunderland is Noah Siddiqui. Siddiqui does well. Finds Mundle. Main Mundle. Granit Xhaka. Noah Siddiqui. Goes one way then the other. Trey Hume. Siddiqui again. Siddiqui's cross in. Headed away. Harry Wilson. This is what I'm talking about on the counter-attack. Wilson charging forward. He's got 3 on 2. 3 on 3 now as Trey Hume gets back. Alex Iwobi! 3-1! And that's the point seal for Fulham. Alex Iwobi has probably just sealed the 3 points for Fulham here at the Stadium of Light. What a game this has been. And that is what I'm talking about when I say the breakaway on. Look at this. It's a simple header out to Harry Wilson. He's 3 on 2 initially. And he's 3 on 3. And he plays the right pass into Alex Iwobi, who just dinks it delicately over the top of Robin Ropes. Excuse me, as he comes out here. He lifts it over him to the far corner. And into the back of the net he goes. And it remains Sunderland 1, Fulham 3. Now that really is just 3 points sealed, signed, sealed and delivered. And the Sunderland fans are pulling away with it. And there's been a goal of the City ground as well as Alex. Third goal of the City for Alex Iwobi, the Nigerian. There's been a goal on the City ground. 89 minutes on the clock there. And it is Nottingham Forest 0, Liverpool 1, Alexis McAllister in the 89th minute. Celtic have equalised against Hibernian in the Scottish Premiership. Now going on 45 minutes after Paslak put Hibernian in front. And just as I tell you about the Liverpool goal, I can tell you that Crystal Palace have just scored against Wolverhampton Wanderers to go 1-0 up there as well. Evan Gisson on loan from Aston Villa with the winner. It looks like in the 90th minute. Yet another defeat for Wolverhampton Wanderers as they will remain bottom of the Premier League. Which is the final 4 minutes or so of this game now. And very soon we'll give you the player of the match. Today has been a difficult one to choose. So many good players out there for Fulham. Brilliant interception there from Joachim Andersen to find Harry Wilson, who wins his side of the throw. And as we see a double change about to appear here for Fulham, which we'll see a triple change actually. Timothy Castagna, Jorg Cuenca, and Tom Kearney all about to come on. I'm just seeing how to picture the Evan Gesson goal. As we tell you, there's number 17, Alex Iwobi off for George Cuenca. Emil Smith Rowe for Tom Kearney. I'm just trying to work out who the last one is for Jorg Cuenca. Just trying to see who the last one is. Cuenca's on there. Kearney's on there. Just trying to see who else is, who's coming up for Timothy Castagna. It's Kenny Tete. So the 3 changes are Kenny Tete, Emil Smith Rowe, and Alex Iwobi. And Timothy Castagna, Jorg Cuenca, and Tom Kearney are on to replace them. I'm being told there's a VAR check on the Liverpool goal, but from what I can see, the goal stands in the Liverpool game. From what I'm being told, the goal does stand for Liverpool against Nottingham Forest in the game of the City ground. Just looking at it here, The goal's been given by the looks of it. But he did strike his arm and bounce into the net. So that would be very, very harsh there. If it is given, he's sitting underneath his chest. Only stood there, complaining. The goal, in fact, has been disallowed for Liverpool for handball. The goal has just been disallowed now for handball by Liverpool. The goal from Alexis McAllister has been chalked off. It's still 0-0 at the City ground. You can see there the scorers for Sunderland and for Fulham as we come towards the end of this match. What a game this has been today in the Premier League, yeah. And right now what we're going to do, we're going to give our Player of the Match award. And I can tell you that today's Player of the Match, sponsored by Football Live, will go to Fulham's number 5, Joachim Andersen. Fantastic bit of play from Joachim Andersen. He's doing really, really well today. Played really, really well. And he's been amazing at the back. He wasn't to fall for the penalty that was given for Sunderland, which they scored their goal from. But for me, he's been immense today and deservedly of that Player of the Match. Fulham's captain, number 5, Joachim Andersen. As we enter 9 minutes added time. 9 minutes added time we've just entered here in the Premier League. This game is been brilliant to watch. Absolutely brilliant to watch here. What can we see from this game here tonight? Will we see a goal to make it 4-1 before the end of the game, or will Sunderland fight back and score 2 goals in stoppage time? It could be a 4th here. It's Wilson deflects it in. Ooh, just wide. Harry Wilson's effort deflects just wide. Closing stages at the game of the City ground in the Premier League. It is still 0-0 there. 1-0 Crystal Palace lead. And their game against Wolves, 3-1 Fulham lead here. As we see Oscar Bob and Harry Wilson there. Take a short corner just to keep possession. Oscar Bob gets it back to Tom Kearney. Tom Kearney will deliver the ball into the penalty area. Headed away by Sunderland. Directly by Isidore this time. Mayenda helps it clear. And this far as setting an up for me being booked. Full time scored. Liverpool have just scored. I can tell you Liverpool have now scored through Alexis McAllister in the 97th minute. Liverpool lead 1-0 against Nottingham Forest in the Premier League. Alexis McAllister has scored there. This goal does count for Liverpool this time. You see it on the bottom of my pictures, monitor here. And he fires it on after the initial header was saved. And Alexis McAllister had a goal disallowed for handball. Has put through the net. Vitor Pereira not happy. His first game in charge of Nottingham Forest will look like will end in a defeat to Liverpool. They played a bit extra at the time there because of the VAR stoppage for the first goal that was disallowed by Alexis McAllister. Alexis McAllister has now scored the goal there what a moment, and Vitor Pereira will look like he's going to start off with defeat in the Premier League after victory in midweek. And you always say teams who play midweek in Europe normally play bad at the weekend and normally don't win at the weekend. Looks like Palace are going to buck that trend and win today against Wolverhampton Wanderers, although Wolves are bottom of the table with just 10 points. Liverpool will average up to 6th place in the table. There now. Be interesting to see if there's another goal in this game here. What a game this has been though on the Stadium of Light. I think I've been the best game and had the most goals in this game, and I think we've got value for money or value for audio listeners. If you're new here, please do drop us a like, please do drop us a subscribe. In this game, here is Treyu. Good ball over the top towards Isidore. It's cleared away by our player of the match, Joachim Andersen. The full-time whistle has gone at the City ground. Once again, Forest have lost by a goal to against Liverpool. Crystal Palace have beaten Wolves by the same scoreline there as well. Next on the hub is Tottenham Hotspur against Arsenal. Kick off at 4:30 for that one. Join us if you can. We're into the closing stages here. Treyu inside the penalty area. Shot is blocked. Mundo lifts it up. Blocked. Cleared away. Wonderful bit of play. There's running Jack up against Harry Wilson. And Harry Wilson goes into the camera on this near side. Here is Siddiqui back. He goes to Robin Ropes. Final 3 minutes of stoppage time. It will be one last chance for Palace to get a consolation. Not Palace, Sunderland to get a consolation, should I say, because I've just seen Paul says full-time at Sellers Park as well. Thank you, Paul, for that information. 1-0 Crystal Palace, they've beaten Wolves today. Here's Fulham with ball penalty cleared away. But now, Cammy Bassey tries to come away. He's throwing for Fulham. Good piece of defending work there. This is the only game still ongoing at the moment. We've almost played 7 of the 9 added on. Sunderland lead here by, trailing should I say, by 3 goals to 1. Fulham are the team that's leading. And most discredited the 3 Fulham goals. Says Sunderland were leading by a goal to 0, which is not the case. And it looks like it's back-to-back home defeats for Sunderland in the Premier League after they lost to Liverpool here. I think that was their last home match in the Premier League. It was so back-to-back defeats for Fulham, for Sunderland, should I say, in the Premier League after they won in the FA Cup. With 2 defeats on the spin now in the Premier League for Sunderland. Could this see them drop down the table and into, I'm not going to say, I don't think he will drop them into, but could they become part of the relegation battle after the early part of the season where they were playing really, really well? Here's Romain Mundo. Good bit of movement infield, ball over the top, into the penalty area, headed down. Eliza Mayenda's shot is blocked. Cleared away by Fulham, but it's all over yet from Sunderland. Into the penalty in the chest back there by Timothy Castagna. Well back to Bernleno. And we're into the final seconds now. Warrington, I think he might have been just offside. And that goal had gone in. Ballard headed it down. But Eliza Mayenda was shown was blood by Calvin Baxley, who was also up there for player of the match. Oscar Bob now down the other end for Fulham. Sanderberg went for a bit of play in towards the penalty. Sanderberg still going. Clear the way. Good bit of movement here. Last chance saloon now. Will Crystal Palace. No, Crystal Palace. Fulham get another, should I say. Fulham shoots! Saved by the goalkeeper. And now the full-time whistle has gone. And the Stadium of Light. And it's Fulham will come out victorious against Sunderland by 3-1. Goals in the game. From Raul Jimenez twice, including a penalty. And Alex Iwobi for Fulham after Enzo Lefebvre had scored a goal back. It's been a good game this afternoon here and the Stadium of Light. Full time, Sunderland 1, Fulham 3 in our first of our 2 Premier League matches this afternoon. Let's just recap the Premier League scores from the weekend just before we finish this afternoon. And it finished Aston Villa 1, Leeds United 1, Brighton went to Brentford and won by 2-0. Chelsea 1-1 with Burnley, just had a man sent off. West Ham 0, Bournemouth 0, Man City 2, Newcastle 1. And the 2 o'clock kickoffs this afternoon, Crystal Palace 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, Nottingham Forest 0, Liverpool 1. Our game, Sunderland 1, Fulham 3, and next coming up is Tottenham against Arsenal at 4:30, and then Monday Night Football sees Everton against Manchester United. Right. Thank you very much then for listening to this coverage. We're back on air in around about 20 minutes time. Full-time score here. And the Stadium of Light is Sunderland 1, Fulham 3.